Majors Hill Park, which I know because I'd been there. I actually was robbed once, and I've only told the story semi-publicly really once, and robbed. They took my wallet, they threw my glasses, way away so I could barely see, threw my bike over the cliff. So the metaphor and the impact of that has never lost me, because it was my bike that went over that cliff, not me. That night, Alain Brosseau, who was a waiter at the Chateau Laurier, which is right next to Majors Hill Park, but he lived in Hull and would walk home many nights, was doing what he normally did, which was to walk through Majors Hill Park onto the Alexandra Interprovincial Bridge and walk home. And so in the course of doing that was targeted and ended up on the bridge, and then picking him up and dropping him from a very high height into the Ottawa River, where he died. As they dropped him, they said, "Nice shoes, faggot." The attack that went on in their home was particularly brutal and vicious. They were home and in bed, sleeping, attacked. The nature of the weapons they used, which included a knife, a screwdriver, attacked, and both of them defended themselves, partly by grabbing the knife and therefore cutting his hand very significantly. One of them almost left for dead and dragged and my understanding, put in the car to be left for dead, and both of them miraculously survived.
And I was also involved in doing a lot of, lot of workshops. I can remember we trained every single police officer in Ottawa on a series of Saturday morning workshops, 4 of us, every Saturday for years and years and years. But we did appreciate that the police were a paramilitary organization. And so I got to tell you, the first few training sessions were extremely rough. And so we had a second meeting with Tom Flanagan, again, who was a marvelous guy, and said, "Listen, Tom, here's the thing. We're not prepared to come here and get beat up every Saturday morning. And so you got to tell your people that you support this training. It's mandated. You have to take it and you will learn. And so, because we had to have somebody lay down the law and just say, we have to respect each other.
Carol and I would do workshops, and I remember one workshop where he said to my face, "You're an abomination." I don't think he was an outlier in terms of what officers were thinking.
Well, we knew through the years, like the different grades, he had been bullied at different times in the grades, and we would always get these things fixed, but it would take time to do it. There was grade 7 was the worst one, where he was on the bus, and they were doing things to him on the bus and giving him a hard time on the bus. And at the start of the school year, when he told us that, we got his older cousin just to go and talk to those kids and say, leave them alone, right? And we thought that was the end of it, because he never told us any more. Well, it turns out, like, I think it was February, one of the girls on the bus told her mother, like, it's not right what they're doing to James. And he wasn't even telling us that something was wrong. You know, the poor, like, to think back about, the poor kid was going out every day to get onto a bus where he was going to be abused. The school didn't want anything to do with it because it was on a bus. The bus company said, you know, we're just focused on driving, we're not watching the kids. So I went all the way to the MPP on that one and said, you know, the province is paying for these buses. Somebody's going to be responsible for the kids on those buses. Figure it out. And it was like pulling teeth. They did not want to help at all, but when the MPP got involved, then things changed, right? Decided to come out and start telling people that he was gay. We were all very supportive of that. In fact, I remember at the time having a conversation with him that I was thinking, oh, you know, like, I'd been worried about him for a couple of months, that something's not right here. And so when he came out with that, I thought, oh, he was just struggling with that, so he's going to be okay now, you know. And but sadly, that wasn't what his struggles were. You know. The Rainbow Club wasn't just to deal with sexuality. It was to deal with the fact that people don't know a lot about each other and respect each other. And he said he wanted the shirts that said acceptance, that we would all accept each other. You know, that was the first step in building a better community. And I was so proud of him. I really came to the conclusion that this will be community driven. So that's why, like, I talk at the schools and I'll talk to different groups to hopefully get people thinking that way. And like I said, the acceptance message, we try to carry that on.
And for them, the thing that was always important to me was that they knew or know that his death wasn't in vain, because as a result of that, so much happened. So many of us were angry, we were scared, and we were empowered by the story. And it's why I think it's important that we name him often to honor his memory, and that his mom would know that although he died, it wasn't in vain at all, because many changes resulted directly from that. Directly.
We could be here all day with memories. That was a kid that lived life to its fullest, you know, and that's why he's missed so much. So.